This morning, where the battle for Karnataka is far from over. The India's apex court will hear the Congress party's plea challenging BJP's B.S. Yediyurappa swearing in as Karnataka Chief Minister at 10:30 a.m. today. The court will also be taking up the crucial letter that has been submitted by the now sworn-in Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa to the Karnataka Governor, in which he has staked claim to form the government and has also written about the number of MLAs who are likely to support him in the crucial floor test. Now, this comes after the Congress MLAs were moved to Eagleton Resort near Bengaluru amidst allegations of horse trading. Now, some of the JDS and also Congress MLAs were shifted to Kochi and Hyderabad yesterday. The BJP leader B.S. Yediyurappa, remember, took oath as the Chief Minister of Karnataka yesterday at about 9:30 in the morning. Now, the apex court had refused to stay his swearing-in ceremony, and Yediyurappa has been given 15 days to prove a majority on the floor of the House. Now, the BJP, which has about 104 seats in the 224-seat assembly, is 8 seats short of the majority mark. Now, the Congress and the JDS alliance has a total of about 117 seats, including the support of the 2 independent MLAs who they claim will be supporting them. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by our correspondent who is joining us from Bengaluru, and also will be joined in by Nagin Singh as well, who is joining us from New Delhi. Now, Pragya, let me start with you. You've been tracking all the developments that are taking place in Bengaluru ever since the election results came out. It has been essentially a stage of hectic parleying from every side concerned. And B.S. Yediyurappa, although he's got 104 members who've been elected from the BJP, still has now been sworn in as the Chief Minister. How is he likely to prove the majority on the floor of the House?
That's right. Very clearly, Mohammed, there are 2 options that lie ahead. Of course, the decision lies today with the Supreme Court post 10:30 a.m. That very crucial hearing begins, which in the hearing, of course, the Supreme Court has asked for the letters that were submitted by the JDS Congress Alliance as well as B.S. Yediyurappa, showing that they do have majority to form the government here in Karnataka. But for B.S. Yediyurappa, for the BJP here in Karnataka, the 2 options that we see also here, and we have also spoken to them, is one about either the Congress MLAs would have to, or either the opposing party would have to abstain from voting, or the other part could be the fear of cross-voting. So the fear of cross-voting and abstinence both looms large on the Congress and the JDS alliance together. The next very important crucial part is the election of the Speaker. The election of the Speaker is going to be a very crucial bit in this, because the Speaker of the House enjoys discretionary powers and he is very empowered. He can actually play a very important role when it comes to the floor test. But being the government in minority, how easy or how difficult it is going to be for B.S. Yediyurappa for a Speaker of his choice to be elected, because the JDS Congress Alliance has said that once they are sworn in, they will be voting and they will be having a candidate of their choice to be the Speaker, which will make things easy for them. But in a minority government for BJP right now, getting a Speaker of their choice is going to be a tough one really for B.S. Yediyurappa. Absolutely indeed, Pragya. Do continue to stay on with us. Meanwhile, Nagin Singh has joined us from the Supreme Court in New Delhi. Good morning to you, Nagin Singh. This of course is a very crucial day of hearing to determine as to what actually happens with Yediyurappa, who's now been sworn in as Chief Minister of Karnataka.
Good morning, Saleh. Well, everything depends on the letter which will be submitted by Mr. Yediyurappa or the Attorney General, Mr. Venugopal, because Supreme Court asked for the 2 letters which were written on May 15th and 16th, and they also said that this is the area of darkness. And once they have the letter in their hand, and once they see what has been already written to the governor, then only they will be taking some decision. And that was the reason that Supreme Court said that this swearing-in ceremony should not be stopped. And Mr. Yediyurappa is CM now, but after the letters are there in the courtroom, and it will be headed by Mr. A.K. Sikri, and this is a 3-bench courtroom which will decide that what is going to happen next. However, the proceedings will begin at 10:30, and at that time those 2 letters are expected to be there in the courtroom, and the decision will be taken on the basis of this on the basis of these 2 particular letters written by Mr. Yediyurappa to the governor.
Right. Absolutely indeed, Nagin Singh. The letter in which Yediyurappa has claimed the support of the MLAs, on basis of which he's been sworn in, that of course is going to be very crucial. It remains to be seen as to how the Supreme Court, of course, looks at it. And Pragya, if I can come to you on this. The fact of the matter is, now Yediyurappa has submitted a letter in which he has listed out the number of MLAs who actually support him. And on the other hand, you also have the JDS and the Congress combined who have also submitted a letter to the governor. In this case, is that also being looked at? Because the BJP has in fact alleged that some of the signatures in the letter that's been submitted by JDS and Congress have in fact been forged. How have the Congress and the JDS responded to this?
So in fact, the Congress and JDS have on the other side said that the BJP has been contacting their MLAs, pressurizing them. Now this is what the Congress and the JDS has in fact said, that they have been pressurized. The MLAs are being contacted in a discreet manner so that they may, come into the BJP's fold, and they may be able to narrow in that gap. So both sides have in fact been mudslinging and rather putting blames on both sides, of the political spectrum. But what's also important for us to remember in this latest development for today is that the Congress MLAs left last night by road and they have headed towards Hyderabad. They're going to reach Hyderabad shortly. Now this is another attempt by the Congress to keep their flock together because of the pressures that they say are coming from the BJP side to get their numbers closer up to the magic mark. And we're also learning that the Andhra Pradesh Congress committee there and the Telangana Congress is in fact managing the show there in Hyderabad, facilitating the Congress MLAs who are going in from Bengaluru there. And we're also learning that they're going to stay at the Park Hyatt Regency Hotel in Hyderabad. So all this, much of the drama before the hearing, the crucial hearing in the Supreme Court today, and post that hearing, things will really get clearer as to what decision is taken by the Supreme Court, because we do know that the Supreme Court can in fact advance the number of days that were given to B.S. Yediyurappa and can order a floor test. So instead of the 15 days, it can be ordered in a few days' time or in a few hours' time that a floor test be conducted. So everything depends as to how the 3-bench judge, what do they have to say today and what do they observe in the hearing today.
Absolutely indeed, and that's a very crucial point as to what the Supreme Court bench which is hearing this case has to say. Now Nagin, you've been tracking this development very closely from New Delhi. Now Abhishek Manu Singhvi has argued that look, there are precedents which have been followed from governors in the states of Goa, in the states of Manipur, etc., where the single largest party was not called in, but rather the coalition which had the numbers was called in to form the government. Now, how confident is the legal argument from the Congress's side here?
Well, in this case, as we are seeing that most of the parties like Bharatiya Janata Party, they have also asked for time with the governor of Bihar so that they will ask them that they were the single largest party and they should be forming the government. Well, the governor, it all depends on the governor. If he wants to call the single largest party, he can. But as you know, in the particular case of Karnataka, when Yediyurappa asked for 7 days, but the governor himself gave him 15 days to prove his majority. This was something that Mr. Singhvi also raised, and also the justice also in the court, Mr. A.K. Sikri, he also asked the same point, that how Mr. Yediyurappa is going to prove the majority if already the governor has received a letter from Congress and Janata Dal Secular with the signatures of 117 MLAs, and that's why it becomes more interesting that how all this unfolds in the Supreme Court, because Supreme Court is still maintaining that they want to see the letter, and because this is what Mr. A.K. Sikri called is the area of darkness, and that's what they want to make clear, that what has been written by Mr. Yediyurappa and how Mr. Vala, the governor, has taken this decision. After that, after the hearing, we can see what happens next. But at the moment, it is still a mystery that what Supreme Court says.
Absolutely, indeed, Nagin. Absolutely. In about 90 minutes from now, the Supreme Court will, of course, the bench of the Supreme Court will convene to hear this case. And Pragya, just before we let you go, in this case, you know, there was a bit of a confusion as to where the MLAs of the Congress and the JDS were lodged. Initially, it was being said that the Congress and the JDS MLAs would be lodged in the same place because they now felt that they were a part of the same family. But that appears not to be the case, because some Congress MLAs, we understand, have been taken to Kochi in Kerala, while the JDS MLAs, we understand, are stayed put in a hotel in Bengaluru. Why has this happened?
Yes, so initially we did have reports that the JDS and the Congress are going to go together as a team and as an alliance, as they have been projecting. But we do learn that the JDS has in fact changed its destination and the Congress has headed to Hyderabad. In fact, they are going to reach Hyderabad shortly. Now the reason for this could be, there could be several reasons. But for now, JDS is wanting to remain closer here in Bengaluru. And they say that our numbers are intact, in fact, and it doesn't depend really on the places where we go. We are finally coming out as the single group together, which is ready to form the government.
Absolutely. We'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed to Pragya Jha, and also for Nagain Singh for joining us and getting us all those latest updates. We'll of course keep coming back to you as the situation, the very fluid situation, in fact unfolds in the state of Karnataka. A lot, of course, remember, hinges on what the bench, which is hearing this case in the Supreme Court, in fact pronounces. Will B.S. Yediyurappa's swearing-in ceremony, which was in fact conducted with a lot of pomp and ceremony yesterday in Bengaluru, will that still considered to be legal? This, of course, is a question which is in front of the Supreme Court, and we'll be getting you all the details as the story, of course, unfolds in the national capital.